Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we're exploring a concept that, honestly, might just change the way you look at your entire life. We're talking about the fundamental beliefs we hold about our own abilities. Think about it. Do we think our talents are just set in stone? Or do we believe they can actually grow and change? Because the answer to that one question, it dictates almost everything about how we learn, how we work, and ultimately, how we succeed. So I want you to think about a time when you completely failed at something. Seriously, think back to it. When that happened, what exactly went through your mind? Did your internal voice immediately become this harsh critic, telling you that you just aren't cut out for it? Or did it become a curious detective, wondering what went wrong and how you could fix it? Well, the difference between those two internal voices is exactly what we are going to unpack today. Section 1. Defining the two mindsets. Let's look at the foundational concepts developed by psychologist Carol Dweck.
Let's dive right into it. A fixed mindset basically operates on the core belief that ability is something you are simply born with, right? You either have it or you don't. It's fixed. A growth mindset, on the other hand, is the belief that ability can be developed over time. And this single fundamental belief acts as the lens through which we view literally every single challenge in our lives. So, when things get hard, how do these mindsets react? Well, they are completely different. When facing a difficulty, someone with a fixed mindset will simply conclude, I'm not good at this. And boom, it's a full stop. It stops them dead in their tracks. But someone with a growth mindset, they'll face that exact same difficulty and say, I'm not good at this yet. It's just a tiny little addition, but man, it leaves the door wide open for future success. This really brilliantly illustrates how we process those inevitable bumps in the road. When making mistakes or getting feedback, the fixed mindset takes it as a harsh personal criticism. The thought is, this shows I'm not capable. It literally feels like an attack on who they are. Conversely, the growth mindset uses mistakes as a roadmap. The thought becomes, okay, this shows me what I need to learn, and feedback is just gathered as valuable info for improvement. No ego, just data. Ultimately, these worldviews completely dictate how we interact with the world around us. A fixed mindset actually feels threatened when they see others succeed, and they'll actively avoid tasks that might expose their own weaknesses. But a growth mindset? They actively seek out challenges because those challenges create opportunities to learn. And when they see other people succeeding, they don't feel threatened at all. Instead, they look for lessons and strategies they can borrow for themselves. Section 2. The power of yet. This is a really simple mindset shift, but it's a total game changer. The crucial point here revolves around that one magic word, yet. If you ever catch yourself saying, I can't do this, just try adding that tiny three-letter word to the very end. I can't do this. Yet. That small change reflects a massive shift in thinking. It completely transforms a dead-end statement of permanent inability into a continuous active journey of development. Section 3, the 55% test. Now, let's see how these mindsets operate under a bit of pressure. Okay, I want you to imagine you are a student who just got their math test back. You flip it over and cue the horror movie music. You see a failing grade of 55% stamped at the top in red ink. Ouch, right? It is a really tough moment. But let's look at how the two different mindsets process this exact same piece of data. Here is the fixed mindset response. Let's walk through this downward spiral step by step. Step 1, you see the 55%. Step 2, the immediate heavy conclusion is, I'm bad at math. Step 3, I don't have the ability. And finally, step 4, the behavioral change. I should just avoid harder subjects. Do you see what happened there? A fixed mindset catastrophizes a single bad grade into a permanent character flaw that severely restricts all their future choices. But watch how this builds completely differently with the growth mindset. We start with the exact same 55%. But step 2 is a curious question. Where did I lose marks? Step 3 analyzes the failure. Was it my understanding, my strategy, or my preparation? Step 4 looks for actionable solutions. What can I actually change? And step 5 is the action itself. Try again. The growth mindset uses the exact same 55% as a trigger for curiosity, analysis, and strategic adjustment. It's an upward trajectory, not a downward spiral. Section 4, the true growth equation. Because guys, it goes way beyond just positive thinking. So there is this pervasive myth floating around that having a growth mindset just means thinking positively or believing that effort alone guarantees success. Let's clear this up. This is absolutely false. Simply working harder with an ineffective strategy is a massive trap. If your strategy is wrong, pouring more effort into it will not improve your results no matter how positive you try to be about the whole shebang.
Instead, we need to keep a critical equation in mind. A much more useful way to think about it is this: effort plus strategy plus feedback plus reflection plus adjustment equals growth. True growth absolutely requires this specific combination. Yes, you need hard work, for sure, but you also need smart tactics, an openness to feedback, the willingness to reflect, and the flexibility for constant course correction. Section 5, Reframing Your Reality. Let's talk about practically applying this equation to our lives.
Returning to our math test example for a second, instead of just blurting out a self-defeating fixed statement like, "I'm just not good at math," we can reframe it. We change it into an actionable, growth-oriented mission. I'm not confident with this mathematics yet. Which part am I struggling with, and what can I do differently? This frames the challenge not as a permanent dead end, but as a specific puzzle that can absolutely be diagnosed and overcome.
And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway of today's explainer. The key shift in all of this is moving from treating difficulty as a judgment about who you are to treating it as a problem that can be understood and worked on. Failing at a task does not make you a failure as a person. It just gives you data on what to adjust for your next attempt. That's it. So I want to leave you with a question to chew on today. Look at whatever is currently stressing you out, whatever big challenge you're facing right now. Is your current struggle a permanent judgment of your abilities? Or is it just a puzzle you haven't solved yet? Take a moment to apply the growth mindset to that struggle today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.